Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to my very first video uh, on the channel. We are breaking down the Stranger Things Volume 2 trailer that just came out a few days ago. Super hyped for Volume 2, obviously, um, and I just cannot wait to break this down. I want to make this the most comprehensive breakdown um, that I could possibly can do for you guys. The goal for this is to hopefully point out something that you may have missed in the trailer. We want to make sure that we have all the information we can going into Volume 2. So we're going to go right into it. I go by Sensei. Welcome. Like I said, the first video, first of many, hopefully, and we're going to see how this goes. Now, when the trailer starts out, we are starting out directly after the events of episode 4, The Sorcerer. And basically, we are seeing Will in the Max Z in the aftermath of the military getting slaughtered by Vecna. So, obviously, the biggest takeaway from this, when I first saw this, because this is right after the events of episode 4, is did Colonel Sullivan survive? Now, we did see in the previous episode, episode 4, when Vecna did his Magneto move and pulled the grenade pins and chucked the two guys into the tank for the explosion. Sullivan, he did walk forward a bit before the explosion happened, and he did get thrown back. He was on fire a bit. Now, I don't see anyone moving in this. I'm going to assume that Sullivan is dead, but I don't know if he's unconscious. So that's the biggest takeaway from that. Did Sullivan survive or not? And then we get a voiceover from Will saying, "We failed. We never stood a chance." One thing about these Stranger Things trailers is that the voiceovers and the audio that's used 9 times out of 10 is not from the scene we're looking at unless we can see the characters talking. I don't think this is Will talking about what happened in episode 4. I believe he is talking about something else. Perhaps a later mission, which I'll get to later, what I think the group is actually trying to do in Volume 2. But we will get to that a bit later. So the next scene, we have Will and Joyce there at Hopper's cabin. We get a nice little mother and son moment between Will and Joyce. Obviously, Joyce is worried about Will. She just saw her son do some amazing stuff the last episode, but she's probably a bit, probably a bit scared, probably a bit worried, a bit, She did, as Hopper said in Volume 1, she kept Will wrapped in bubble wrap for most of that season. She did kind of ease up towards the end, but it is good to see that she is there for him for this scene. The other thing I noticed in this scene, in the wide shot, is there is a photo on the desk on the left side of the room, which I believe this photo is of Hopper's daughter, Sarah. I believe it does look like her. It would make sense if it was her. So that is my take on it. I believe that is Sarah's photo on the desk on the left side in the shot. And then we get another voiceover from Joyce saying, "This isn't over, not by a long shot." And again, I think that while it could tie to this scene, I don't think this is from this scene. But it could be. I think this one is more likely to be from this scene than the first voiceover that we heard from Will. So next scene, we get Mike staring up into the sky, and we get the flash of red lightning. This is a big moment because this is actually confirming that Mike is in the Upside Down for the very first time. He's one of the only main party members that has not gone to the Upside Down yet at all in the first 4 seasons. And so far in season 5, volume 1, he has not gone into the Upside Down. The closest that he did was in season 2 when the group was in the tunnels. Because they were surrounded by spores. It was upside down-ish, but not exactly the Upside Down. So good to see Mike. Welcome to the Upside Down, Mike. Glad you made it. So he is standing on top of a vent, and I'm not exactly sure where this vent, where he actually is in this moment. It could be at the base, it could be at the lab, which I'll explain why a bit later. And then the other part of that scene, we do see that there are some people around him. One of those people for sure is Elle. We can see the bracelet that she is wearing. Um, Sarah's bracelet that Hopper gave to her, the blue bracelet on her left wrist. We can see that in the shot. We know that Elle is with him wherever he is at this moment, but I will get to that a bit later in the trailer. They do make it a bit more clear. The next scene is Holly and Max. One of many shots of Holly and Max in this trailer. We see Max stepping through a portal into Holly's room. So the biggest things about this scene are, number one, the portal is going through the mirror, the same mirror that Holly was looking at in episode 1 before she was attacked by the Demogorgon, that same mirror that's on the wall. The second part about this is that if you look where she is coming from, that is actually Holly's school. That they are coming from Holly's school into Holly's room. And to me, this is basically retracing the steps of Henry slash Vecna slash one slash Mr. Whatsit, whatever you want to call him. Okay. And it's basically because we know that he did visit Holly at the school, and we know that he actually was looking through Holly's eyes. We'll confirm this, I believe, at the end of episode 2 in volume 1. And then after that, we know that in Holly's room is where she was attacked by the Demogorgon. So, and my thoughts on that is that Vecna was looking through the Demogorgon. My thoughts on that is Vecna was looking through the Demogorgon's eyes at that time as well. So they're basically following the events in order to try to escape. That is my thoughts on that. The other detail, which I think most people already know, but in case some of you do not know, if you look at Max's pants that she is wearing, obviously we know she got these clothes. That's not the same clothes she was wearing when she went into Henry's mind. She did gather the clothes from different memories, and we get a nice little Easter egg. If you look at the patch on her, I believe it's her left leg, is actually from one of Henry's old shirts. It's actually the shirt that we first see Henry wearing when we see the flashback / vision in season 4, when him and his family first arrive at the Creel house in Hawkins. So nice little Easter egg there. Like I said, we're trying to break down as much as we can, folks, so bear with me because we're not even at the Netflix logo yet. This is we're very early on in this trailer, and there's so much more to get to. So the other part of this scene, we're still on the Holly and Max scene. The last thing I want to say there is that there is some shattered glass underneath where the mirror is broken, which tells me that they are kicking through the other side to get to it. And also, to add on top of that, I did mention earlier that they are coming from Holly's school. To get more in depth on that, they are actually coming from the middle of the I forget what it's called, the spinning merry-go-round, whatever it's called, the device that Holly was laying on when she was spinning and the sky was spinning. They're coming from the center of that, and they're going directly from that into Holly's room. So interesting stuff there. The next shot is just a quick shot of Holly and Max looking down almost like a mine shaft. It's got like a wooden ladder that's broken on top, and they're just kind of looking down it. So not too much to go off there. We know this is something in Henry's memories, so I believe this may have been how Henry originally got into the caves, the cave that he's afraid to go into now. I think there's a connection there, but it's hard to say. The next shot is a previously used shot with Nancy and Jonathan, Steve, and Dustin at the Hawkins lab in the Upside Down. Even though it's a previously used shot, I mean, I honestly love this shot. So it just looks so epic, and I feel like they're gonna end probably episode 5 with that shot. Honestly, they might. It looks like an episode ending shot to me. Then we get another voiceover from Dustin, basically saying this whole time everything we've ever assumed about the Upside Down has been dead wrong, and that says a lot. And he is saying that while they are in the lab. They do show Dustin speaking while that quote is going on. So I'm very curious as to what they found in the lab, and specifically what Dustin found, which I will also get to later, because there is a detail that I don't really see a lot of people talking about uh, with Dustin, because it was a very quick shot. But I will break it down when we get there. We'll stay tuned. Hey, Future Sensei here. Just wanted to make a quick edit here. In my excitement making the video originally, I did skip one of the scenes where it does show Holly and Max going through the floating door. Um, this, to me, is obviously the dimension door that was foreshadowed by Mike on the first episode of the season, hinting at Holly having powers, whether it's just in the mindscape of Henry or will she have it when she gets out? I'm not sure, but yeah, this is a clear indication or a clear representation, if you will, of the dimension door in this show. Sorry about that, and back to the original video. Next, we have a shot of specifically Dustin and Steve. They're in the Hawkins lab, upside down. They're on the first floor looking up, and they see this red portal slash light slash I don't know what this thing is. It could be one of many things, but it's very difficult to say exactly what it is. But they're looking up at it, and this is the same thing that Nancy and Jonathan are looking at from the rooftop. The biggest thing to take away from there is that this object, again, I don't know what to call it. This object is actively melting away parts of the building. We can see this on the rooftop area, which, thinking about it in another sense, it could be a case where that might not even be the roof. That might just be an upper floor, and the actual roof may have gotten melted away. I'm not sure, but that rooftop area that they're on, you can see the whole area is actively melting. That's close to this object. And then later there is the scene of Dustin and Steve on some stairs, which we also can see melting, but we'll get to that as well. And then the next shot is the Netflix logo. So we are already finding so much information here in this trailer before we even get to the Netflix logo, before the song actually kicks in. Incredible. Sorry. I'm going to keep going. So the next shot is from the WSQK radio station. We have 11 with the headphones. She's going into the void. So my thoughts there, obviously she's trying to find someone. She could be trying to find the kids. She could be trying to find Max and Holly still. She might be using the giant tower from the radio station to kind of amplify, what she's looking for. It could be a bunch of things, but she's there. Callie is there, and might I just say, I'm very happy to see Callie back. I'll admit, I did think that Callie was going to come back very briefly, and I actually thought she was going to come back in a flashback, and they were going to show Vecna killing her, which wouldn't be as exciting, but it's great to see Callie back. I'm really glad that they are adding more depth to the show and bringing that full circle to the Lost Sister episode, which I never thought that episode was that bad personally, but I'm sidetracked here. So moving on, we see Callie there with 11. 11 says to Callie, help me find him, help me kill him, talking about Vecna. So, and Callie does not say a word. Obviously she doesn't have a lot of screen time in this trailer, but I'm very curious because I feel like Callie is a bit of a wild card, if you ask me. I don't know if she is going to help 11 immediately. I hope she does, obviously. We kind of need her, but just something to think about. I don't know if Callie is completely gonna be on our side just yet, but we'll find out. So in that same scene in WSQK where it shows 11 with the headphones, we see there's some Easter eggs behind her. There's some bumper stickers. That one of the bumper stickers says, well, not bumper stickers. There's some stickers on the wall. Pardon me. One of the stickers says "Sailors have more fun," which I believe this is a little Easter egg to season 3 Scoops Ahoy with the sailor outfits. Um, there's a Big Red Express sticker, which that one I'm not too sure of. And then just a small little Easter egg. The clock that that's directly behind 11 shows 7:31 as the time, and 7 plus 3 plus 1 is 11. So just a little tiny Easter egg there. But I believe that Elle is using the static from the headphones because we know that when she goes into the void, she needs something that resembles the sound of static. We've seen her use the television in earlier seasons. We saw her use the showers in season 3 when she was at the pool with Max. So she needs some sort of static in order to be able to go into the void. So that's obviously going to be a big help with the radio station. The next shot is Mr. Whatsit in this really cool nighttime rain shot that it looks straight out of like a Dick Tracy movie. For the younger people that don't know, Dick Tracy was kind of like a noir like detective that wore like a yellow suit, and he had like it was a yellow coat and like hat, kind of like what Mr. Whatsit wears, but it was all yellow. Showing my age here, but anyways, it also reminded me because of the rain and the lighting. It reminded me of Matrix Revolutions as well when Agent Smith was about to fight Neo. It reminded me of that. Now, where exactly is he in this shot? To me, he's either outside of the Creel house in his mind, which that one I don't think is as plausible. To me, I think he is outside of the Wheeler house. And I'll explain why in a minute because there's another scene that ties back to that. But I believe he is outside of the Wheeler house in this moment, and he's about to make his entrance and cause some trouble. So the next shot, we go back to Nancy and Jonathan. They're at the roof of the lab. We see the red portal again, and like I said, it's melting the building. We get a closer look at the portal, and it does look like there's some mind flare particles mixed in that are swirling around it. I have heard some people mention that there is possibility if you pause it at the right frame, it kind of resembles like a dragon, which I would love that. I think we are overdue to see a dragon in the show personally, but I'm not entirely sure if that's what we're seeing. But the mind flare particles are definitely there. And then we see the actual scale of this thing because this object, I'm gonna keep calling it a portal just because I don't know what it is. We see Nancy and Jonathan like when they do the wide shot, and if you look at how small Nancy and Jonathan are standing next to this thing is absolutely massive. So I'm not sure what the takeaway is going to be from this. Obviously, we know that the shockwave that happens later comes from this, but I don't know what this portal is. I'm very, very curious to know like what this is. This and the wall are like my two biggest like mysteries, and I think they actually might be connected. More on that later as well. So we see the portal explode and knock back Nancy and Jonathan. It kind of sends them flying back. Nancy drops the shotgun that she was holding. Then it cuts to Murray, and he's in the big buy truck. He's going into the Maxi military zone, and we see Dr. K. She's still kicking. I mean, Dr. K. She didn't get killed by Hopper. She just kind of got knocked out. But somehow we can see she's made her way back to the Maxi in our world. She's no longer in the Upside Down. She is in our world again. She's regrouped with the military. And basically what we see here is Murray is driving this big buy truck, and he's kind of chauffeuring like the entire group into the Maxi. So in just this shot here, we can see Robin, we can see Will, and we can see Dustin just in this one shot that are inside the truck. Um, so we see those three that are inside the truck. We see Murray getting shot at, which, side note, I don't know how Murray made it through Volume 1. I really thought that Murray was going to die. Uh, Honestly, I thought he was going to die before the fourth episode. I thought he was going to die episode 2 or 3. But the fact that Murray is still here, and then he's getting shot at now, so he's still in danger. He's still, if they are going to take out a character, I feel like Murray, and I love Murray, but I feel like Murray would be a safe character to get rid of if they are going to actually kill off a character. But we see Murray getting shot at, and then Nancy pops up on the roof of the truck, going full Sarah Connor against Sarah Connor. And yeah, Nancy packing heat is just a normal occurrence now in the show. She's got she's got an assault rifle. She's got like shotgun bullets around her. She's just going in. She's like a full on, like a one woman machine here. It's actually insane. And I also love how in the trailer, the way they edited the trailer, they kind of had they had the bullets going to the beat of the music. Oh, so good. Anyways, now we can confirm here that this is the downtown MAX-Z. I'll admit, when I first saw this, I wasn't completely sure if this was the MAX-Z or the military base, but we know it's the MAX-Z because we can see Melval's as well as the Radio Shack in the background. And like I said, Nancy is just, going to town. She's shooting at the military, doing what she does. And then there's a shot of Lucas, who is also in the truck. So now we have 4 people confirmed in the truck, if we're keeping track here. So we have Robin, Will, Dustin, and now Lucas are also in this truck. The next shot is of Holly and Max once again. They're running through some woods. These are probably the woods that are in between Henry's home and the caves, the same woods that he told Holly not to go through. And then we see them at the cave. They kind of turn to look at the camera, and they look terrified. Max in particular looks absolutely terrified in this shot. Like, Sadie Sink, I mean, I can't say enough about Sadie Sink's acting. Amazing. So the next shot, we actually go to a new location. We go to the hospital, and we've seen in previous trailer shots of the demo dogs kind of hunting down Max. We saw previously how Lucas was kind of carrying Max. She's not even awake yet. He has to physically carry her. Now in this shot here, we see the demo dogs inside the hospital, and the first person to see the demo dogs is actually our girl Vicky. And all I can say is, Vicky, welcome to the party. She's now, you understand why your date keeps getting canceled with Robin. So Vicky sees the demo dog first. Robin is in the background here with one of the military guys, but her back is to Vicky, so she does not even notice what's going on. Not in this shot. We are going to come back to this though. The next shot is back at the radio station, and we see Robin, Mike, and Will. Now this shot is actually at night. I believe this is early on in episode 5. This is right after the events of Sorcerer, and we basically see Will using his powers again, and to me this is going to connect to the the Demogorgon that we see later on in the trailer that's getting shocked. I believe this has a connection to that. One takeaway I did have from the scene, which I thought was kind of funny, is if you look at when Will is using his powers and his eyes go white and everything, if you look at Robin's face during this part, she looks like she has no idea what's happening. She's just like, I just thought it was pretty funny, her reaction to that. So the next, we go back to Murray and the Big Buy truck, and we get more confirmation, more people inside the truck. So remember, we had Robin, we had Will, we had Dustin, and we had Lucas. in the truck, and now in this shot, we are confirming that Elle is there in the wetsuit. We have Mike there, and we have a quick shot of Steve, who's in the truck as well. So we know that Steve does make it out of the upside down at some point, which again is surprising. He was probably like second or third on my list of people to die. Again, I don't want him to die. Let me just put that out there. I just, the clues that the show are giving us, we're pointing at Steve, but now I think it's someone else, which we'll get to soon. Um, and then we get a voiceover from Jonathan. Well, I might as well say it now. I think Jonathan is the one that that's gonna not make it out of this volume. I think Jonathan is gonna be the big death in volume 2, personally. So we get a voiceover of Jonathan basically saying, "I don't know what's on the other side of this. If you want to stand a chance of surviving, we need to be a team." Now, while this is a great quote, it's a bit out of character for Jonathan to be giving a motivational speech, to be honest. So I'm not sure of the context of what he, why he's giving this speech. If he's talking to the whole group, if he's talking to just Nancy, if he's talking to Will, I'm not sure who he's talking to. But I just found it a bit odd that they gave Jonathan this voiceover with this speech, and this is actually the second trailer where Jonathan specifically is getting a voiceover. I really think that Jonathan might be the big death of Volume 2. So after this, we get a quick shot of the demo dogs back in the hospital, just them walking on the top part. They're in the basement where we saw Max and Lucas in the earlier trailers. Very quick shot. We go back to Dustin and Steve, and here we see the shot of the melted stairs that I was talking about earlier. So when I first saw this scene, I actually thought, because of the way that the camera, like the angle of the camera, I actually thought that this scene was a gate, because it kind of reminded me of in season 4 where they're in Eddie's trailer and the gate is on the roof and they're looking up and they can see like the other group there. That's what I thought this shot was at first, because the stairs just looked so weird. The angle of the stairs looked like they didn't even like match up. But when I looked at it closely, it is not a gate. It is just the stairs themselves are melting. So this makes me think of the portal on the roof. Is this thing going to be like, splurting out red stuff? Because we know it explodes, but it's weird that only that specific part of the stairs was melted through. So very, very odd moment there. So next we have next we have a moment where Dustin reunites with Mike. And I will admit, the first time I saw this trailer, because it happened so fast and because I was watching on my phone, it was such a small screen, I did not realize that this was Mike. I thought this was Steve. So Mike is there at the lab. He's wearing the same sweater that he wore in the previous episode, and the same sweater that we see him wearing in the previous trailer shot where he's looking up at the red lightning. So we get a nice reunion of Dustin and Mike, and we do see a quick shot of Elle in the background behind Mike as well. So we have confirmation: Mike, Elle, and Dustin in the Upside Down. I don't know if Mike and Elle came with anyone else. There may be one other person from that previous shot, which I think might be Robin, but I feel like Robin would be more focused on Vicky and keeping her safe. I don't think she would be going, unless this is all part of like the giant mission where everyone's going into the Upside Down. So who knows? But really nice to see Mike and Dustin reunite there. So the next shot shows Elle by herself in the Upside Down, and this shot to me looks like she is actually in Hawkins' library in the Upside Down. So the same place that we saw in the opening of season 5, where basically young Will was brought, and he was kind of violated by Vecna. We're not even going to get into that, but that looks like where 11 is, like the lighting and where the window is. It just reminds you of the library. Next, we have a quick shot of what I'm calling the hellscape. This is a previously used shot of the kind of area between dimensions, is what I feel it is, and it has the body falling from the sky. Obviously, it's impossible to see who that is. My guess is either Holly or Max when they escape from Camazotz. This, I think that is who that is. It's either Holly or it's Max to me. Um, Next, we go back to the hospital, and we can see that the demo dogs are on a mission because we actually see them running down the hallway. And the biggest takeaway I have from this is that they completely ignore Vicky. We see Vicky kind of, she kind of like she does one of these and like presses herself against the wall. She's terrified, right? Rightfully so. But the demo dog runs right past. It does not try to attack Vicky whatsoever. It runs right past her. It is focused on its target, which I believe is Max. I believe that Vecna sent the demo dogs to the hospital because he finds out that Max and Holly are trying to escape, and he wants to get rid of Max's physical body so she has nowhere to return to, and that is why he sent them there. Um, that's what would make sense to me, and I feel like the military guy is there. Perhaps, actually, you know what? Why is the military guy there? Because if he was put there to protect Max, who sent him? And if he wasn't there to protect Max, then why is a military guy just randomly there? I don't know. I don't know. But clearly they have their target, and we see that there's at least 3 demo dogs just in this shot running down that hallway. Um, but like I said, Vicky at least doesn't have to worry about getting attacked for now. I think she's still going to be in danger though. So the next shot is probably one of the most interesting shots of the trailer to me. This is the shot of Vecna at the Wheeler house. He's on the stairs, and you see him kind of glitch out, and he's kind of glitching between Evil Henry and Mr. Whatsit, and then when you see his hand on the banister, he's kind of transforming into Vecna. So this is a very interesting shot, and it makes you wonder: is Henry slash Vecna slash one slash Mr. Whatsit? It almost giving me like a split personality vibes. Like he kind of can't decide who he wants to be in that moment. Very interesting choice there. Um, Now it does show Holly there. Now, even though I know this is the Wheeler house that Vecna's in. I am not 100% sure that Holly is at the Wheeler house. I think it may be a misdirect, and I think that Holly might be that shot might be from somewhere else. Which, if it is, I don't know who uh, he will be going after. If not Holly and Max. So we'll see. And then we get the full Vecna transformation, and he basically says in his that guttural voice, the "It's time," classic Vecna. So the next shot we get is that shockwave coming from the roof of Hawkins' lab. Basically, it starts off as red and then it turns blue as it goes over the town. And it's going towards the wall, obviously, because, if Hawkins' lab is in the middle of the wall and it's going out in all directions, it's going to go towards the wall regardless. So we see it go over the town, and we actually see the light pass by, like the upside down Max Z, which I thought was a pretty cool shot. And then the previously used shot where it shows Hopper, it's over Hopper's head when he's near the church. And I believe that Ella's with him there, I think. Next shot, we have a quick shot of Callie doing this Black Widow takedown on this military guy. So listen, I'm here for all the Callie shenanigans. All right, so we don't know how long she was held captive there. I don't know. I don't recall of her being like hand-to-hand train like that the last time we saw her. Um, but hey, I'm here for all of it. So Black Widow takedown from Callie, awesome stuff. Next shot we get is a very quick shot of an explosion happening. Now, as far as where this explosion is happening, we do see some machines. To me, um, they look like dryers at a laundromat, and think that this is I think this is in the hospital basement where we saw like the Jurassic Park scene. There's if you look at that shot of the explosion, you can see kind of like a yellow line on the floor, which kind of matches up with um, that scene where the demo dogs are kind of like prowling around looking for Max and Lucas. So I want to say that's in the basement of the hospital. Not 100% sure yet. Um, and then if you look at the explosion, I actually did this completely by accident when I was pausing it to watch. I was pausing it to take notes on the video. But if you pause that explosion, you can kind of see like a Demogorgon's or a Demodog's foot in the explosion, which um, one is awesome, and two makes me think like who is causing this explosion. If it's to take out the demo dogs, that's fine, but I'm wondering like how they caused it and who caused it. So um, interesting stuff there. Next shot, we're back at the radio station, and here we see Robin cranking up the electricity on the radio tower. So earlier in Volume 1, we did see that Steve had turned this off before he went on the climbing competition with Jonathan, which to me was so unnecessary, but I'm not even going to get into that. But we see Robin turn up the electricity, and then we see that the demo dog is getting shocked. So to me, what's happening here, based on this shot and the previous shot of Will using his powers, what I think is happening is they are using the tower as like a giant defibrillator, and they are shocking the Demogorgon back to life, because we know that Will kill the Demogorgons. He killed them all, the ones that were there. So this is probably the one that was near Robin when the truck flipped. When the truck flipped on its side, and that's probably the Demogorgon that they're using, the one that's closest to the radio station. But basically, I feel like they are using the shock to bring the Demogorgon back to life, and then what they're gonna do is once the Demogorgon is brought back, they're going to use Will to tap into the Demogorgon, because remember, he has to be in proximity to the hive mind in order for his powers to work. All right, so we did get confirmation of this from the Duffers. So if the Demogorgon's dead, he can't really do anything. But if they bring the Demogorgon back to life, even if it can't move, then Will can tap in, and we do see that he uses his powers earlier in the same area at WSQK. So that is what I think is happening. So the next shot, oh goodness. The next shot is Dustin and Steve with the "If you die, I die." First off, what are we doing? Why? We don't need to put this in the air. Okay, let's not. All right, like this is the best duo on the show. I don't care. Fight me. Okay, I will say that Robin and Will is a close second at this point. All right, but Dustin and Steve pretty much carried the show on their backs. To me. Okay, so the "If you die, I die" obviously is a direct callback to season 3 when Steve and Dustin and Robin and Erica are in the elevator at the Russian mall base, and basically, and I believe that they were trying to do something with like the green goop that ended up being like the super acid, the stuff that they used to power the laser that was opening the gate. But basically, while they were there, Dustin says to Steve, "If you die, I die." Now at that point, Steve doesn't really say anything, but he just kind of goes, "Huh," he doesn't say it back. But here, we have come full circle, and I do want to add also, thank goodness that they patched up this this brotherhood here, because volume one, watching them argue was painful. and and I get why they did it, because Dustin's going through his grieving, but God, that was painful. And I'm really glad to see the two of them back on terms here. Awesome stuff. So we get the "if you die, I die" scene where they both say it to each other. Um, and then we get a nice little Easter egg. If you look at the jacket that Steve is wearing here, this is actually the same jacket that he wears in at the end of season 4, where they're going on the final mission to the Upside Down into the Creel house. And we actually see him pick up this jacket at the I forget the name of it, but the gun store where they have all the guns and like the weapons. He actually picks up this jacket there, and then he wears it for that final mission. So it looks like he kept it, which is great. And then the next scene, this is the scene that no one is talking about, and I don't know why. The next shot is Dustin in the lab. He is running out of a particular room in the lab. It's a very quick shot, so you have to kind of, you have to pause it really to see, because of the lighting and everything. But he is running out of the Rainbow Room. People, need I remind you, the Rainbow Room is where, I mean, lots of stuff happened, but mainly that is where Elle opened the gate in 1979. That's where she sent Henry into Dimension X. So yeah, pretty significant if you ask me. And then the way that Dustin is running out of the room, it's almost like he found something in here and he's running to tell the rest of the group. I'm so curious as to what he found. I cannot wait to see it. But yeah, Dustin leaving the Rainbow Room. Again, I've seen a bunch of videos on this. I haven't seen not a single person mention this. No shots at anybody. I'm just saying that, again, I'm trying to be as thorough as I can with this. But yeah, Dustin running out of the Rainbow Room. Next shot, Nancy and Jonathan. They are blown back from the explosion. We did see a little bit of this earlier, but this time we see them fully just get sent flying. It's a very quick shot. The next shot is 11 back in that area that I think is the library in the Upside Down. Again, no confirmation that that's where it is, but this is just my thoughts on this. I think this is where 11 is. So she's wearing the wetsuit, so we know this is later in the season. And if you look closely, she's using her powers to rip one of those vines. So it kind of almost looks like when Will was in the flashback at the beginning of the season, and basically the device that Vecna attached to Will's mouth, it kind of looks like she's ripping that, but the way that the camera is positioned, that you can't really tell who it is, but she's ripping one of those off of someone is what it looks like to me. So interesting stuff there. The next shot is at the church graveyard in the Upside Down. We did see a previous shot here in the official trailer, but this time we see that Elle is there and she is not by herself. We see Callie is here with 11 at the graveyard. And I believe Hopper is there as well. So my thoughts on this is, what is this storm going on? Because we see this like monsoon happening in the middle of this graveyard. There's stuff flying everywhere. I don't know what's going on, but I'm here for all the Callie shenanigans. Once again, I love seeing Callie, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do with her this season, the rest of the season. Next shot, and this is kind of the money shot of the trailer, and this is basically of what appears to be the sky of the Upside Down, but it's crackling and it's turning red. Okay, now the reason why I'm calling this the money shot is because I think what's happening here is that the Upside Down, well, first let me explain what I think the Upside Down is and why it'll flow, trust me. So I think that the Upside Down is a pocket dimension that is inside Dimension X. Okay, I think that the wall, like outside of the wall, is pretty much just Dimension X, and kind of the Upside Down just kind of sits in this little area, including the top part, the sky, if you will. So what I think is happening here is that the sky is crackling and it's turning red because I think that the Mind Flayer who is in Dimension X is breaking through, like physically breaking through the um, the border, if you will, of the Upside Down and Dimension X. So whatever is happening, like this is something huge. So I think if it's not the Mind Flayer, then I feel like it's got to be like, some sort of creature we haven't seen, whether it's a dragon, whether it's the Thessal Hydra, you know, whatever. But I think personally that it is the Mind Flayer that is breaking through the sky, coming into the Upside Down. So kind of merging the two worlds, if you will. And then the final shot of the trailer, it shows Vecna inside his lair. This is where the rest of the kids are. Well, I should say all of the kids are now, because we did see that at the end of episode 4, he did get the rest of the kids. So he has all of them there, all 12. So we see Vecna being kind of hooked up to this area. And this is exactly where the kids were taken. Now, a couple things I'm noticing about this area. There's 3 things here. So one is that if you look at the background of the shot, it almost looks like there's like a tunnel that leaves this place, which it kind of reminds me of, obviously, season 2. We saw the tunnels, and if you remember, there's an area that Hopper stumbled upon that kind of resembles this area, and it was they called it the Bone Graveyard, and it was a giant circular area. It was pretty much where the Hawkins Lab people were sent when Will was spying, and he told them to go there as a trap, and they all kind of got mauled by the demo dogs. So is it possible that the place where they're at is the Bone Graveyard, but maybe they have to open a gate in the Bone Graveyard? I'm not sure. So the tunnel connection is there, but the other thing I notice, and these kind of go hand in hand, is that this area kind of looks like it's the inside of some sort of creature's mouth or body, because we see what looks like teeth. I see what looks like a rib cage. So are they inside of some monster? I don't know. But it's gonna get crazy, folks. So that is pretty much all I have for the trailer. I know it was a lot. If you're still here, if you watch this whole thing, first off, thank you. So this is the level of breakdown that I'm trying to bring to this show, and to other shows as well. But we're focusing on Stranger Things for now until the show ends. But this is the level of analysis I'm trying to bring. So if you are here for this, if you're here for analysis, please like the video, subscribe. I'm gonna have more content here about Stranger Things. I've already got ideas for some death predictions before Volume 2. My full Volume 2 predictions, and then if I can get it done before Volume 2, I've been collecting clips of the previous trailers to kind of put together a timeline, pretty much the clips that we have not seen yet. So obviously clips from the To Doom date announcement, from the teaser trailer, from the official trailer, from the Volume 1 trailer, and now from the Volume 2 trailer. So at least like 5 trailers worth of stuff, but I'm trying to put together a timeline of events based on where things are happening. So if you're interested in seeing that, let me know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this whole thing. I can't wait to do more. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.